Hello, Sentinels fans. Mr. Chomps is taking a little break at the other house, so to fill in for a little bit, we have Tashi right here. Greetings, Sentinels fans. The Choose Your Own Adventure review that I did last week took a lot more out of me than I expected, so I'm going to do something light this week. I'm going to look through the art of the game and point out a bunch of little details that I didn't notice at first. Now, this isn't an exhaustive list by any means. I'm just showing you a bunch of my favorites, spanning the whole card game. I will also note that since I am primarily a digital player, most of my exposure to the artwork are these tiny pictures. They aren't distinct enough to easily identify each card, but the eyes tend to lose the details unless I zoom in on them. But if I zoom in on them, it's usually because I want to look at the card effect and not because I want to look at the art. But of course, when I'm editing these videos, I'm usually staring at these images for hours at a time, so I start to notice a few things. First, a few things I have said in previous videos. In my very first video, I had a small bit of text show up saying that there isn't actually any depiction of Ra actually carrying the Staff of Ra. Closest we get is Excavation, which is Blake Washington, not Ra, carrying it, and Summon Staff, where he is about to carry it. This is a bit strange that he wouldn't be shown like that. It's not like the fact that Lifeline seldom wears the Terminarch's casing. The staff is pretty central to Ra's character history, so one would think that there would be at least some depictions of Ra using it. Next is Fnatic's armor, something I brought up in the heights and weights video. Namely, that Fnatic's classic armor doesn't have a back. There are just straps there, and an opening for her wings. You might never notice this because most of the time, named characters are not drawn to have their backs facing the audience. They're almost always turned in such a way so that you see their faces. But yeah, her classic armor has an opening in the back, and you can only see it on a couple of cards. But now to new stuff. Starting with one from Benchmark, all the way in the last mini-pack. Flash Installation Drive depicts Randall in profile, and the flavor text suggests that this is the point where he is fighting Revenant. However, look closer at the card, and you will see Revenant actually reflected in Benchmark's armor. Such a small thing that is so cool once you see it. Jumping back to the beginning, we look at Citizen Dawn's deck. Devastating Aurora shows Legacy getting hit by a blast of light. However, if you look above him, you will see a silhouette also getting hit. The wings identify her as Fnatic. Another instance of a hero in silhouette, we have Infection from Plague Rat's deck. This one was actually pointed out to me by Christopher and Adam themselves, in response to a letter I sent in for the Plague Rat episode of the Letters page. The rat-infected Legacy and Tachyon are on display, but hiding in the shadows just behind them is an infected Haka. Sticking with silhouettes, I have no idea why I never noticed Wraith in the foreground of Twisted Back Alleys until recently. I mean, she's right there. Yeah, your eyes are drawn to the goons in the background, but you know. Now we take a dive into Akash 3's deck for this. When I saw this card, I at first thought she was fighting filter agents. Then I saw them more closely and saw that they were Therathians, so I thought it was another story of Therathians invading Earth. However, then you look at the sky and notice the two suns. Only one place has two suns like this. Akash 3 is on Dock Therath, meaning there's a story out there of the Earth Spirit actually leaving Earth. That's a story I want to hear now. Also, this card is called One with the Land, which is pretty rich since Akash is the invader here. Staying in space, let's head to the Enclave. The Endling Refuge seems to show an Endling going home for the night, or whatever he is doing. But wait, are those people down there? Oh geez, this thing is huge! Another thing pointed out during the Letters page. I suppose Harpy has to be helping her out even when they didn't even know each other, because Expatriate seems to have fancy glowing John Woo doves in a lot of her cards. Let's count them. Ding, 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 and ding. And yes, they snuck into one of Stuntman's cards too. Who doesn't like pretty birds flying around during a gunfight? Ignoring the occasional casualty, of course. And while this last one isn't in the card game, I still think it's pretty cool. So we will move into the Sentinel Comics RPG Starter Kit. Spoilers for the Starter Kit in 3, 2, 1. So in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th session, depending on what order your party wants to do them, you will bring the Freedom 5 to the Tomb of Anubis. However, it isn't the real tomb, but a recreation made by Baron Blade and Misinformation. This includes enemies that look like mummies, skeletons, and scarabs, but are actually robots. And what's cool is that you can actually tell they are robots when you look close enough. You can see the bits of metal and wiring. At first glance, they look like the real deal, but the true nature is just beneath. And that's 10 little details of the art of this universe that I find kind of fun. I hope you like them too. like, subscribe, all that annoying stuff, and I hope to see you next time. Take care, friends.